before modern borders, before oil, before the rise of today's superpowers. There was a civilization that governed millions across 3 continents, not through force alone, but through a system. A blueprint of coexistence, a system that protected cultures, respected faiths, and recorded the first principles of human rights into clay. This was the original boxing ring, a world of rules, of diplomacy, and of grand architecture that spanned the known world. But every system has its shadow, and every grand design eventually meets the chaos of the street. The Persian paradox. Hello friends, welcome back to another episode from History Talk and Common Sense. We are taught to measure power by GDP, aircraft carriers, and stock market tickers. But what if the truest form of power isn't money, but memory? Imagine a civilization that was constructing the Suez Canal 2,500 years ago. A culture that invented the yachtshell, massive mud brick structures that kept ice frozen in the heart of the desert, and the Cannet system, an underground miracle of irrigation that turned dust into gardens without a single pump. This is the land that gave the world the algorithm and the Cyrus cylinder, the first charter of human rights, carved in stone while the ancestors of today's superpowers were still centuries away from a unified alphabet. How does a civilization with thousands of years of statecraft, the people who pioneered eye prosthetics in the 5th century BC and passive air conditioning via wind catchers, become a country under sanctions? Does a historical legacy matter in a world ruled by raw force? Or are we witnessing a clash not of militaries, but of timelines? The West plays a 4-year election cycle. Iran plays a 25-century marathon. Today's world is a hierarchy. At the top sit the superpowers like the US and China. Below them, the great powers like the UK, France, and Russia. Then regional powers. And beneath them, everyone else. This is the rules-based order. But those rules were written after World War II by the people who won it. For decades, this system worked like a boxing ring. It was structured, predictable. If you had the most expensive equipment, you won. But in 2026, the game has moved to the alleyway. In a street fight, a $900 billion budget feels slow and bulky. Look at the Strait of Hormuz. For years, Iran was the target of sanctions. Now, by controlling this 21-mile-wide choke point, they have flipped the script. By requiring permission for transit and vetting vessels in their territorial waters, a sanctioned country is now sanctioning the world. When a single move in these waters causes a $3.2 trillion loss in global equity, the old labels of regional power stop making sense. This is systemic disruption. To the average person, uranium enrichment sounds like a math problem. To the global elite, it's the ultimate gatekeeper. The world tells Iran it has no civilian need for high-purity uranium. But here is the technical reality they don't want you to know. Most nuclear power plants run on 5% enriched fuel. It's like low-grade coal. It works, but you have to stop and refuel every 2 years. But superpowers like the US and UK use 93% to 97% enriched uranium to power their submarines. Why? Because high-purity fuel is energy-dense. It allows a submarine to run for 50 years without ever stopping for gas. It makes the reactor small, the ship invisible, and the range infinite. This is the nuclear paradox. The nations that casualized the use of nuclear weapons on Japan now maintain a nuclear apartheid. They claim the exclusive right to the 50-year fuel, while telling a 2,500-year-old civilization it isn't trusted with the same physics. And who is the judge? In 2026, as the Epstein documents continue to expose a global elite tied to criminal perversion, the moral lecture rings hollow. When the referees in the boxing ring are caught in scandals, the players in the alleyway stop listening to the bell. This isn't just about a rebel state. This is a civilization state reclaiming its seat. While the West focuses on the next news cycle, Iran is breaking monopolies in the most advanced fields on Earth. They are currently in the global top 10 for nanotechnology and lead the region in nanoradiopharmaceuticals to detect cancer and cure Parkinson's that millions of people are suffering from. Is the goal to be a new bully? Or is it a civilizational reset? A return to the values of the Cyrus cylinder, where leadership is based on justice and education, not military bases and debt. Some analysts see a West Asian framework emerging, a third way that relies on internal coordination rather than external control. So, we return to the original question. In a world defined by raw power, where does civilization fit? Is the future decided by who has the most expensive weapons, or by who has the most endurance? History shows that global systems evolve, slowly at first, then all at once. The boxing ring is crumbling. The alleyway is where the new rules are being written. And in a marathon that has lasted 2,500 years, the finish line is finally in sight. The Suez Canal crisis of 1956 appears to have heralded the end of the British Empire. Fast forward 70 years. The Hormuz Straits crisis of 2026 signals the end of the American Empire.
I'm observing you.
Power is temporary. Civilization is forever. Thank you for watching. Your likes, shares, and comments. Subscribe to History Talk and Common Sense. Let's decode the logic of power together.